Hi, welcome back to Math&Me with me, Nikhila Sankar. Now we are going to solve some hyperbola questions. Okay, so what is a hyperbola? So you have two types of hyperbola. One which is along the x-axis. Hyperbola எப்படி இருக்கும்? Ellipse பிரிச்சு திருப்பி விட்ட மாதிரி இருக்கும். Okay. The other one is the hyperbola which is along the y-axis. Okay. So the equation of this is when it's along the x-axis, it's x square by a square minus y square by b square equals 1. When it's along the y-axis, it is y square by a square minus x square by b square equals 1. Okay. So, in that this point is the foci. So, it's c comma 0 minus c comma 0 and the point over here is minus a comma 0 and this is a comma 0. அதே மாதிரி இந்த இடத்துல this point over here is the foci which has the coordinates 0 comma c and 0 comma minus c. This point is 0 comma a and this is 0 comma minus a. So where is your b point? When this is your y-axis and this is your x-axis, you have two lines which pass through the center and the length of the conjugate axis is b. So basically, இது வரைக்கும் போதுனா this will be your b. So this is b 0 comma b and this will be 0 comma minus b. But you cannot specifically mark a point which is b. So we don't do that. But you have to understand that b is on the conjugate axis. அதாவது hyperbola when it's along the x-axis, the y-axis becomes the conjugate axis. When hyperbola is along the y-axis, x-axis becomes the conjugate axis. Okay. And here the relationship between a, b and c is a square plus b square equals c square. This is for hyperbola. Okay. For ellipse, what did you see? A square minus b square equals c square. So this is for ellipse. Okay. Don't get confused. And you have the same eccentricity. It is c by a and the length of the lattice rectum is 2b square divided by a. Nothing else changes. Only when you have the hyperbola which is along the x-axis, you have x square by a square minus y square by b square. When you have the hyperbola along the y-axis, you have y square minus by a square minus x square by b square. And there we had a plus. We had y square by a square plus x square by b square. For hyperbola, you have a minus. Okay, that's it. So, example 14. Find the coordinates of foci and the vertices, eccentricity, length of the lattice rectum for the equation x square by 9 minus y square by 16 equals 1. So, if ellipse la, what did we see? We saw that a square was always greater than b square, a greater than b. For hyperbola, a greater than b is not a condition. B can also be greater than a. What is your general form of an equation? When you have x square, you have a square in the bottom minus y square by b square equals 1. So, always a square comes in the first term and b square comes in the second term. இதே y square இருந்ததுனா என்ன ஆகும்? Y square by a square minus x square by b square equals 1. So first எப்போமே a square வரணும். Second தான் b square வரணும். You always have a square in the first term and b square in the second term. Okay. So if it is of this form, your hyperbola is along the x-axis. If it is of this form, your hyperbola is along the y-axis. Okay. So according to this question, our hyperbola is along the x-axis. So hyperbola எப்படி இருக்கு? It is like this. And you know that A and C, they lie on the same axis. Correct? So this is your minus C comma 0. This is your minus A comma 0, A comma 0 and C comma 0. So this is your hyperbola. So this is of the form x square by A square minus y square by B square equals 1. A square the first one. So your A square is 9, A is 3, B square is 16, so B is 4. You need to find what your focus is. So a square plus b square equals c square is the relationship between a, b and c for a hyperbola. Ellipse kenna a square minus b square equals c square. So in that plus varum. So what is my c? C square is 9 plus 16 which is 25. So c equals 5. So if my hyperbola is along the x-axis, foci எப்படி இருக்கும்? My foci would be plus or minus c comma 0. So it will be plus or minus a comma 0 and 0 comma plus or minus b. It is very similar to how you did in ellipse, but you just have to make sure along which axis your hyperbola is. Okay, so இப்போ foci என்னது? These are your vertices. So foci is plus or minus 5, 0. Your vertices are plus or minus 3, 0 and 0, plus or minus 4. Okay, this is my vertices, foci. Now I need the eccentricity, which is c divided by a. C enna 5 divided by 3. Length of the lattice rectum is 2b square divided by a, which is 2 times 4 square divided by 3, which is 4, 4, 16, 16 to 32. So 32 divided by 3. Okay.